Okay, so since Topaz is kind of ready for it, she's looking for something else to do. I'm running low on my treat pouch here, which means she's probably just stuffed full of goodies. Luckily, I used 90% kibble, so it's at least mostly nutritionally appropriate, mixed in with a few extra special sausages and stuff. Hey, honey. So, my mom has this amazing garden. Honestly, the whole place is amazing garden. And shockingly, she doesn't want Topaz to run around and chew on her flowers and poop on her pathways and all of that. Fair enough. And so, instead, what I'm going to do is a little bit of preliminary boundary training. So typically a lot of the training that she gets is us squawking, no, get out of there, rah, out, bad dog, not in a really angry, mean way, but as a, oh crap, need that to stop now, and I haven't prepped myself a plan. I haven't gone and prepped a plan to do prevention, and maybe I don't have the means or the desire for the aesthetic of fences around my garden. So, here, pup. Good. So some of what I might do is kind of recall or attention getting before she steps into a garden. The hardest part is when we go in there, she wants to follow us because she's a dog. And she assumes we're doing that, so it's cool. So she should be able to do that and come say hi. This boundary here is completely arbitrary and meaningless to her. And to be fair, it sort of is for me too. Same with my niece and nephew. But we're gonna work on this, honey. Good girl. So what I like to do is instead of being reactionary and squawking, doesn't mean that it's what I always do, because I am a human being and I am not able to have my trainer hat on at least properly 24/7, but we try. So this has been a thing, so now I'm going to do some training. Anyway, we've done enough training that she's getting a little bit bored of this, I think, but here, Topaz, come on, let's go. Come here. Can you tell we don't do any recall yet? Hey, hun, come. Good girl. Hi. Are you sick of these? No, not quite? Okay. Good girl. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to walk along the garden. Yes. I'm going to walk near it. Good girl. And every few feet I'm going to give her a goodie for not being in the garden. Good. Now this is just step one. Eventually what we want to get to is practicing good girl. Maybe me stepping into the garden and her not following. But we literally are just starting this right now, other than the squawking for the last little bit. Good. Now, treats don't always have to go straight to their mouth. We can, of course, toss treats to the ground, especially, if we're working on encouraging sniffing and exploring and relaxing anywhere but inside the garden. You done? Or are you just chewing? Hi. You want to keep going? Good girl. I mean, worth saying, when you're training a dog to not do something, it can be kind of tough because you have to kind of figure out what's the criteria other than that. Good girl. Yeah. You know, is the criteria for reward literally doing anything but walking in the garden? Because that can end up being confusing, not just for them, but for us too. Good. But the way we kind of deal with that, good girl. You listening to the sounds? You wanting me to throw this? Good. Obviously, with this, we want to really try not to throw the treat in the garden. It's not the end of the world, but we have just given them at least one reward for going into the garden. Whoop. Good. I do try to not say no, or at least I have. I replaced it for the most part with oops. However, since reading Christina Hunger's book, Hunger for Words, about... Good girl! The mosquitoes are really bad right now, so both of us are dealing with that. But anyway, since reading Christina Hunger's book, I thought more about, kind of using the full range of communication. The main reason a lot of us trainers say not to use no is because we do have a tendency to fall into sounding very angry and not offering what we want them to do instead. So my caveat, good girl, to, allowing for saying no or whatever word. Oh, there you go. Good. Is that if you do say it, oops, up, out, out. Good. You need to give them an alternative. You need to show them the alternative. And then you need to reward the alternative. Now, what can happen there is you can develop something, what's called a behavior chain, where if you're only ever waiting, good. If you're only ever waiting for them to do the bad thing or the unwanted thing, good. And then you call them out, you say no, you call them over, good. What you can create is what's called a behavior chain, where they think, okay, well, I get ignored. Good girl. Good. Oh, out. Where they think, okay, I get ignored, nothing happens. But if I walk into, out, come. If I walk into the garden, that's when I get some attention. And as you can see here, someone's dug, oops. Out. Come. Yep. Hey. Come on. That's it. Good. As you can see, she doesn't really know what's happening yet, which is fine. What we want to do is build up a sort of habit so that she learns what is acceptable and try and keep it within her winning. It was my mistake to try and, if you can see that mulch that's been dug up, it's probably her. And so my putting my hands in there and digging around kind of, oops, come on out. Let's go over here. Good. Kind of might end up feeling like, hey, let's do this together. Because they do learn by observation. Good girl. And so, what we might do instead, since, there was a few mistakes, we're going to go back to walking maybe over here where there's a lot more room for success, which is all of this grass versus little bits of garden, which actually behind the garden there is a trail that the dogs use to run back and forth up the fence to bark at trucks going up and down the alley. Good girl. So, what was I getting at? Behavior chains. You can end up with a kind of doing something quote unquote naughty, and then waiting for you to come, call them over, and respond. So you saying hi, honey? Come on. Good girl. Ready? Wait. Good. Get it. So the alternative is to make a prevention plan, be proactive. So you can use those kind of reactive solutions, call them away, interrupt them, show them what to do instead. But you want that to be at most 10% of the training around that event. What you want most of the training to be is this kind of preventative, boring junk where you just walk around and show them what you do want them to do. We aren't very focused right now. Everybody's like barbecuing and everything smells good, and also this is like, I don't know, what is it, the 5th training video I've done with her today? Hey, that's lots of training. We just want to play and eat good food, don't we? Hey, honey. Hey, honey. Yeah. Yeah. Good girl. Oh, maybe some cuddles. Hey, maybe some cuddles. Good. Ugh.